Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 9th of December 2021, and no doubt like you, I woke up this morning kind of pondering what went on yesterday and considering the fact that we are now living in a radically different country, a country that frankly I hoped I'd never have to live in. One that believes in apartheid, segregation, discrimination, and altogether sort of unfair treatment of segments of society who choose to live their lives perfectly reasonably and rationally in the way they so choose. And it looks like we are now faced with discrimination and this apartheid system. And even if you're fully with the narrative, don't think you're going to escape hardships and consequences from this. I'll come on to that in a minute. But before I do that, I'd just like to consider the fact that it was quite a few months ago, at least 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago, I started seeing things. I think some of you guys actually sent me in the sort of details actually in the link, and I believe I did see this for myself at one time as well. And apparently the November Hotel Sierra website had the fact that the Big V passports were going to be coming in on the 15th of December, and that was there in place, as I say, many months ago. And we were rapidly coming up to that particular date with kind of no sign of it appearing, and then all of a sudden, not even 2 weeks ago now, and this time 2 weeks ago, none of us had even heard of this scariant that starts with O. And then in very short order, they ramped up the fear about it, even though from all accounts, it's nothing to be that fearful of. It's pretty mild from what many people or most people were saying. But they ramped up the fear in double quick time, brought in kind of restrictions and measures in double quick time, and now here we are with the Big V sort of passports coming in, announced yesterday on the 8th, and yeah, guess when they're supposed to be officially coming in? On the 15th. So even if you're sort of totally with the narrative, you've got to sort of think there's something funny going on there, isn't it? Because, well, and why would they have the Big V passport scheduled for many months now to come in on that date, when they didn't know about the sort of scariant that starts with O? And that's, you've got to admit, that's a bit suspect in itself. So either they kind of were just going to bring it in anyway, or they knew that the thing that starts with O was going to be coming many months ago. So either way, very, very dodgy, don't you think? I certainly think so. And really, I'll come back to what I was about to say a minute ago. Even if you've had all three of your sort of Big Vs and you think it's all a great idea, you're going to be facing consequences from this just as much as people who haven't had the Big V, because both that horrible woman in New Zealand, Ardern, and our own health minister here in the UK, Savage Javid, have both said, they're both on record for saying that these Big Vs are going to be happening indefinitely. Yeah, Ardern said that yesterday, and Javid said it a couple of weeks ago, I think. And can you imagine it? You've got to go every 6 months or even every 3 months, as Javid was saying. You've got to go through the hassle of booking up your appointment with your local surgery or whoever it's going to be. You've got to take time out of your day. You've got to go down there, probably wait in a great big queue for half an hour or an hour, and then go in and get the thing. And then you've got to sort of either update your Big V pass, or you've got to wait for your local surgery to do that. And you better hope they're quite efficient at doing that. Probably not, knowing the way things in this country run a lot of the time, these government entities. So you can imagine you've got to do this malarkey 4 times a year, and then you've got to kind of hope, let's say you've been to the surgery and got this thing one day, and the next day you're going on holiday, you're going on a nice trip up to see a concert or something, or whatever, and you turn up and it's, sorry, you're not up to date. And you're like, yes, I am. I had it yesterday. And, it's obviously the surgery hasn't updated my records yet. Well, sorry, sir or madam, you're not getting on this plane because our records just show that basically you are unV'd. And you just only have to miss out on one of these things. Let's say you get sick and tired of it, because every time you have one, you're spending like 3 or 4 days ill in bed, and by the time you get to your sort of 8th one, you're thoroughly sick and tired. Well, you only have to miss that date, and you are then in the class of the unV'd, and you then cannot do anything either. So even if you're on board, just kind of think about what you are ushering in. And do you really want that? Do you really want that for your children as well? I don't think so somehow. So, and then as far as the likes of me are concerned, and obviously it's going to curtail what I can do, all right, to start with, to a fairly inconsequential degree, because I don't really go to kind of large events or nightclubs, really, not at my age. But just think of all the people who do love doing those things, and also think about when, it's probably not even if, it's going to be when they kind of extend the whole thing out to cover a lot more of life's activities, bars, pubs, restaurants, and perhaps even quite a lot of shops, or all shops. They're already doing that in other countries. So I think regardless of what side of the fence you're on, whether you're sort of V'd, unV'd, you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got all 3, and looking forward to the 4th, do you really want this? And once these things are in, they're going to be here forever. And it might not even be tied to your sort of Big V status. It'll then be tied into quite a lot of other things. You've paid a visit to the wrong kind of website. You've perhaps rather bad at your recycling, or you don't do a lot of recycling. You've kind of done a little bit too many kind of flights, or sort of driven too many miles in your car for that particular month, kind of allotment that's given to you. And you turn up, again, you're turning up at a concert or restaurant or for a flight, and sorry sir, your sort of passport here is not showing green, I'm afraid. So you are not coming in here. So even if this is how tyranny works, you see, because you might be okay with what's going on now, but one day there's going to be something that affects you and you're going to sort of think, hang on a minute, that's wrong, I don't agree with that. And it's going to be like, well, sorry, if you don't agree, you're going to lose your passport and you're going to be like all these other people over here, excluded from a society. So just have a think. We all need to sit down, have a think, and decide, do we really want these horrendous things? And if, like me, the answer is an emphatic no, and you know, if you love freedom for yourself and for your children, it should be no. Well, you know, we need to all just stand up and fight this as hard as we can, and just tell the government in no uncertain terms that under no circumstances are they to bring this stupid Big V passport in. And if they do, they are going to face so much pushback and so much kind of non-consent to it. Basically, just everybody's going to ignore it, and until they're forced to kind of back down on it. So just a few thoughts there about the Big V passport. It's not going in the right direction, to be honest with you, but I think I don't know if there's sort of signs of hope at the moment, but there's certainly signs of some weird things going on, isn't there? Because obviously Johnson's facing a lot of flack about this Christmas party thing, and he could well end up being forced to resign over it, who knows. And then yesterday, this is unconfirmed, I only saw it on a video on one of my Telegram groups, but it's from an Austrian lady, and she should know, but apparently the Austrian Chancellor, who brought in their horrible Big V mandate a couple of weeks ago, a guy called Schellenberg, well, apparently, as I say, this is unconfirmed by me at the moment, but apparently he's just resigned for, guess what, attending a party when he shouldn't have done, breaking his own sort of lockdown rules, basically. And that's a bit weird, isn't it? But anyway, there's just a couple of thoughts there to mull over. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.